Hello, welcome to the channel. So today I'm going to make a card for a man. I have found this stamp set in my craft supplies, so I thought I would use this today. I was also inspired by the cupcake on there, and I have a paper pad that is designed by Louise, and she runs her own YouTube channel called Iced Images Cards. So I purchased that paper pad. I'll just flick you through it quickly to show you what the papers are like. So they are all coordinating their shades of blue and pink. So they've got donuts, sprinkles, stripes. So I thought that this would go nicely with this. So I have gone ahead and cut some things out of there. So I've cut a panel which I'm going to layer up, and I have on the back of a piece of scrap, I've stamped the sentiment. I've also gone ahead and from some scrap of this paper, I have cut some of the donuts out. So I've cut some of those out, so I'm planning on putting those on. So I'm going to go ahead and put this together. So I'm starting off with a card blank, which is 5 by 7, and I've cut that from the Lidl cardstock pad, and that's grey. So onto here, I'm going to put a Mirri silver, and this is 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. Onto there, I have cut a piece of the donut paper. That is 4 5/8 by 6 5/8. I'm going to put that on with some double-sided tape. Okay, so those are stuck on. So the sentiment, as I say, is on blue, and that's also going to go onto some Mirri silver. I'm going to attach that also with some double-sided tape. So I'm going to put that into the centre of that card, but I want to put this up on some foam. Okay, so that's stuck on with some foam, so that gives it a little bit of dimension. So you could leave that as it is, but I've cut these pieces from some scrap from the paper pad, and I quite like the idea of putting some in this gap and this gap here. So I'm going to have a look to see what that looks like. Maybe some overlapping stacks would be nice. Quite like the half-eaten donut. And I've also cut a swirl, and I don't know what that is. I think it might be a gumdrop or a cake topper. I don't expect to use all of these. I'm just giving myself some options. So I think I'm going to go for something like that. So let's get those stuck on. Okay, so I have stuck on some of the donuts that I cut out of the pattern paper. The bigger donuts at the back are stuck flat, and the ones at the front are on foam. Hope you can see that clearly. So I've got these left over. I was going to put them on the front, but then I thought it's maybe a bit too much. So I'm going to make an insert for the inside. I'm going to do that on white. The way I do that is I make my own envelopes out of white paper, which I buy in A3 size, which is double A4, which is standard UK letter size. And then the offcuts I keep. So I often end up with an offcut this sort of size, which folded in half is plenty big enough for the inside of a card. So I tend to fold them in half, and then the folded edge I push up against my scored on the inside, and then I lay it down and I will mark with a pencil where I want to cut. So I leave a little bit of a gap here so that it doesn't show on the outside, and then I'll do the same for the bottom on the left, and then using my guillotine I line my mark up with the cutting edge and then just cut it to size. And that now fits perfectly inside. So I'm going to stamp a sentiment on that, pop that in, and we'll come back and I will put some of these on the inside. So I've stamped Happy Birthday in the centre, and I've taken that from this stamp set which I got online, and I've stamped that with Memento Tuxedo Black. That's completely dry. So I've put some double-sided tape along here, and I'm going to put that on the inside of the card. So now that's attached, when I open this up, it will automatically bring the inside and show their happy birthday. So these leftover donuts and bits and bobs, I'm going to stack up in the bottom corner. I'm going to stick them flat so that there's no dimension, because the dimension is on the front. And then that mirrors what is on the front of the card. So there's the finished card. Quite a simple masculine card. Very effective. Just one sentiment on the front and happy birthday stamp inside. And with a few of those cuts on the inside as well. So I hope you've enjoyed the video today. If you have, please consider giving it a like and subscribing if you haven't already done so. It's free and it really helps out the channel. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.